In the weeks following the highly discussed BTS reunion in Los Angeles, fans were still processing the wave of content, interactions, and appearances that surrounded the members of the world's most influential K-pop group. The reunion, which brought together Jin, Suga, J-Hope, RM, Jimin, V, Taehyung, and Jungkook in one city, had already generated widespread media coverage. Yet, what followed afterwards sparked an entirely different set of conversations online, especially regarding an unexpected sighting at a restaurant in LA. The story began when Jungkook and Jimin were spotted dining together in a low-profile restaurant located in the heart of Los Angeles. For most fans, seeing two members of BTS spending time together in public was already noteworthy. However, what turned the event into one of the most discussed topics online was the quiet but unmistakable appearance of Taehyung. According to witnesses, Taehyung entered the restaurant discreetly, and for a brief moment, his presence changed the entire narrative of what many thought was a simple dinner between two members. The curiosity began almost immediately. Fans on social media started asking questions. Was this dinner planned as a casual get-together, or was it connected to the larger activities of BTS in LA? Why did Taehyung arrive separately, and why did he not appear in the initial fan photos that captured Jungkook and Jimin? Theories multiplied across platforms, with some pointing out that the reunion itself might have been a catalyst for private moments between the members, while others speculated about possible professional discussions happening behind the scenes. The BTS reunion in LA had already set the stage for heightened fan interest. The group had been on a period of individual projects, military service, and solo schedules, making every collective appearance a rare and celebrated occasion. When the members reunited, the public saw interactions filled with nostalgia and warmth, but the aftermath seemed to carry just as many stories as the reunion itself. The dinner involving Jungkook, Jimin, and Taehyung became a key focal point of those stories. Restaurant sightings of celebrities in Los Angeles are not unusual. Still, the involvement of BTS members always draws special attention due to the group's immense global influence. The restaurant in question, while not officially confirmed, was believed to be a mid-range Korean fusion eatery known for its privacy and low-key atmosphere, an establishment frequented by artists who prefer to stay away from the usual spotlight. According to accounts, Jungkook and Jimin were seated at a private table when fans recognized them, and soon after, Taehyung's presence was noticed. Interestingly, Taehyung did not join the table immediately upon arrival. Sources described him as cautious, interacting briefly with staff before making his way toward the section where his fellow members were seated. This detail added to the intrigue, as fans debated whether Taehyung's appearance was intentional or spontaneous. Some speculated that he had been informed about the dinner late and decided to drop by, while others suggested it was all planned but deliberately kept subtle to avoid drawing unnecessary attention. The dynamic among the three members has always been of interest to fans. Jungkook, Jimin, and Taehyung are part of the younger line within BTS, sharing a long history of training days, performances, and behind-the-scenes interactions. Their bond, while at times overshadowed by larger group activities, remains a subject of fascination for ARMY. This dinner, therefore, became symbolic in its own right. Not just a casual meetup, but perhaps a glimpse into the personal connections that continue beyond the group's official schedules. As soon as word spread, the incident was picked up by online communities, fan forums, and even some news outlets. The initial posts included blurry photos, short video clips, and eyewitness descriptions. While none of the content revealed in-depth conversations between the members, the context was enough to spark widespread discussion. The timing of the dinner was also notable. Coming directly after the reunion, it raised questions about whether BTS members were holding private discussions regarding future activities. Industry insiders pointed out that Los Angeles has often been a central location for BTS-related work, ranging from music video shoots to international performances. Could this dinner have been connected to future planning? Or was it simply a continuation of the reunion spirit, extending into smaller, private gatherings? The appearance of Taehyung specifically added another layer of complexity. His activities in Los Angeles had already attracted attention, with reports suggesting he was involved in various projects, both music-related and collaborative in nature. Fans wondered whether his arrival at the restaurant was tied to those commitments, or if it was purely personal. Regardless of the reason, the combination of Jungkook, Jimin, and Taehyung at a single table reignited conversations about the group's ongoing unity and their ability to balance individual paths with shared experiences. The first wave of fan reactions was characterized not by outrage or shock, but by curiosity. While the reunion itself had been celebrated as a moment of togetherness, this restaurant event highlighted the more subtle, private side of BTS members' interactions. It reminded many that, beyond the cameras and official appearances, the members still maintained connections that were both personal and professional. As the story unfolded, speculation only grew. The restaurant encounter became a reference point in discussions about BTS's future, their dynamics, and the way they navigate visibility in a world where every public movement is scrutinized. For fans, it was not only about seeing their favorite idols share a meal, it was about piecing together the larger picture of what these moments might signify in the broader timeline of BTS as a group and as individuals. The news of Jungkook and Jimin dining together, later joined by Taehyung, spread rapidly across online platforms. Within hours, fan communities on X, formerly Twitter, Weverse, and TikTok began circulating eyewitness accounts and amateur photos taken outside the restaurant. Although the images were far from high quality, they provided just enough evidence for fans to recognize the members. The most discussed moment was Taehyung's subtle arrival, which many described as both unexpected and fascinating in terms of timing. For longtime observers of BTS, it was not unusual for fans to analyze even the smallest interactions. However, this particular event stood out because it followed so closely after the group's reunion. The reunion itself had been a significant milestone, given the members' busy schedules, individual projects, and ongoing military service obligations. For many, seeing three members spending time together in a public setting was a reminder that their bond remained intact, even outside official appearances. The discussions online divided into several key themes. The first was curiosity about the nature of the meeting. Some fans speculated that Jungkook and Jimin had planned a private dinner, only for Taehyung to join them spontaneously. Others believed all three had agreed beforehand, but chose to stagger their arrivals to avoid attracting unnecessary attention. Both scenarios carried implications about the way BTS members managed their personal privacy, especially in a city like Los Angeles, where celebrity sightings are common but always subject to scrutiny. The second theme revolved around the location. Fans and casual observers alike noted that the choice of restaurant seemed deliberate. Known for its low profile, the establishment had a reputation for catering to high-profile clientele seeking a quiet atmosphere. This aligned with the group's need for discretion, especially after a widely publicized reunion that had already placed them under a spotlight. Industry watchers suggested that the location itself might have been recommended by local staff or connections familiar with the members' desire for privacy. Another significant layer of discussion centered on Taehyung specifically. His projects in Los Angeles had not been fully disclosed, and fans were eager to connect the dots. Some linked his presence at the restaurant to rumors of upcoming collaborations, pointing out that LA has historically been a base for BTS's international music production. The fact that he joined Jungkook and Jimin during their meal raised questions. Was this dinner simply a continuation of their social interactions, or was it connected to potential professional planning? Media outlets in South Korea and abroad began picking up the story, often framing it as a casual outing rather than a major event. Yet, even in this framing, the emphasis on Taehyung's unexpected presence remained consistent. Articles highlighted the intrigue of his subtle entrance, as well as the way his arrival altered public perception of what was initially thought to be a dinner for two. The trio's appearance together suggested more than just friendship. It hinted at ongoing conversations that fans and journalists alike were eager to interpret. As discussions unfolded, it became clear that fans were not only analyzing the dinner itself, but also placing it within a larger context of BTS's trajectory. The reunion had reawakened hopes of group activities, and any sighting involving multiple members was seen as a possible clue toward future projects. In this sense, the dinner was less about food and more about symbolism. It represented continuity, an indication that, despite their individual paths, the members still found time to connect and share space together. Eyewitnesses provided additional details that added nuance to the story. Some described how Jungkook and Jimin appeared relaxed, engaging in light conversation while keeping a relatively low profile. Others noted that Taehyung, upon arrival, exchanged greetings with the staff before joining his fellow members at the table. While none of these observations revealed confidential information, they painted a picture of a quiet evening that became extraordinary only because of who was present. One interesting point of debate among fans was why no official photos or content were shared by the members themselves. In previous instances, BTS members had occasionally posted casual snapshots of their outings, whether through Instagram or Weverse. The absence of any self-released images this time fueled speculation that the dinner was intended to remain private. Some fans respected this boundary, emphasizing the need to allow the members personal space, while others continued to analyze every available detail in hopes of uncovering hidden meaning. As the story continued to trend, online commentary highlighted the difficulty BTS faces in navigating their dual identity as global superstars and private individuals. On one hand, their fans are deeply invested in their interactions and find joy in seeing the members together. On the other hand, the constant attention means even a simple meal can become a subject of widespread analysis. The LA restaurant sighting perfectly encapsulated this dynamic, balancing the ordinary with the extraordinary. The presence of Taehyung, Jungkook, and Jimin at one table carried different meanings for different audiences. For fans, it symbolized ongoing unity. For industry analysts, it hinted at potential discussions about projects. For the general public, it was yet another example of how BTS members continued to attract attention wherever they went. Each interpretation, while distinct, contributed to the growing significance of what might otherwise have been an unremarkable evening. Ultimately, the dinner became a cultural moment not because of what was said or done, but because of the broader context in which it occurred. With BTS in a transitional period, balancing solo careers, military service, and group activities, every interaction among the members is viewed as a potential indicator of what lies ahead. The restaurant sighting in Los Angeles was no exception. It served as a reminder that the members remain connected, both personally and professionally, even when their paths temporarily diverge. As speculation continued, attention turned toward what this dinner might mean in the weeks and months to come. Would it lead to announcements about collaborations or group projects? Was it simply a personal gathering with no deeper implications? These questions set the stage for ongoing discussions, ensuring that the story of Jungkook, Jimin, and Taehyung at a restaurant in LA would remain a focal point in the narrative of BTS's evolving journey. Once the initial wave of fan discussions spread online, the attention surrounding the Los Angeles restaurant sighting of Jungkook, Jimin, and Taehyung transitioned into broader media coverage. Outlets in South Korea and international platforms quickly picked up the story, but the way it was reported varied depending on the audience and editorial focus. The incident, while seemingly minor, became an example of how media narratives can shape public perception of BTS members' activities. In South Korea, local entertainment news outlets approached the story with a tone of cautious reporting. Articles often highlighted the fact that Jungkook and Jimin were first spotted dining together, noting the significance of their continued friendship after years of performing and training together. Taehyung's arrival, though covered, was presented as an interesting addition rather than the central storyline. Many Korean reports framed the dinner as evidence of ongoing camaraderie among the members, especially following their widely discussed reunion. The Korean press, however, tended to avoid heavy speculation. Instead, they emphasized observable facts: the location of the dinner, the sequence of events based on eyewitness accounts, and the cultural impact of fans recognizing the idols in public. This approach reflected a broader media trend in South Korea to maintain a degree of restraint when covering personal moments of celebrities, particularly those with the international stature of BTS. By contrast, international outlets, especially English-language media platforms, took a more interpretive approach. Many headlines played up the element of surprise surrounding Taehyung's appearance, describing it as unexpected, secretive, or unannounced. Articles often drew attention to the symbolic weight of seeing three members together in a private setting, framing the dinner as potentially more significant than it may have been intended to be. For Western audiences less familiar with BTS's day-to-day dynamics, the idea of multiple members appearing together outside official schedules carried additional intrigue. Some international entertainment publications went further, suggesting that the dinner could be linked to professional matters. They pointed to BTS's history of using Los Angeles as a base for recording sessions, music video shoots, and industry meetings. The possibility that Jungkook, Jimin, and Taehyung were discussing future collaborations or group activities became a recurring theme in coverage aimed at global readers. While no concrete evidence supported these claims, the speculation itself added momentum to the story. Interestingly, the divergence between Korean and international narratives highlighted the global complexity of BTS's public image. In Korea, the group is often framed within the context of national pride, cultural contribution, and professional achievement. Abroad, the coverage leans more heavily on their global superstar identity, with every interaction scrutinized for hints about the future of the group. This contrast became particularly clear in the restaurant incident, where Korean outlets reported it as a casual dinner while international outlets cast it as a potential indicator of upcoming developments. Social media amplified these narratives further. Clips and translations of Korean articles circulated widely among international fans, often sparking debates about which interpretation seemed more plausible. Some fans sided with the Korean press, arguing that the dinner should be seen as nothing more than a friendly gathering. Others embraced the international speculation, suggesting that the members' presence together in Los Angeles could hardly be coincidental given their history of working in the city. Another notable aspect of the media coverage was the emphasis on visibility. Korean outlets stressed how the members maintained discretion during the dinner, while international platforms highlighted the fact that they were recognized despite efforts to stay low-key. This dual framing underscored the challenge BTS faces. They are both ordinary individuals sharing meals with friends and extraordinary figures whose every move becomes newsworthy. Industry analysts also weighed in through commentary pieces, some of which were published in business and cultural journals. These analyses framed the dinner within the broader question of BTS's future as a group. With mandatory military service still ongoing for some members and solo projects taking center stage, any sign of group interaction was seen as noteworthy. Analysts debated whether such moments were part of a long-term strategy by HYB to keep public interest alive, or simply organic interactions between friends. In addition, media narratives were shaped by timing. Because the dinner followed so closely after the BTS reunion in Los Angeles, it was difficult for reporters and fans alike to view it in isolation. The reunion had already generated discussions about the group's bond and potential next steps, and the dinner appeared to reinforce those themes. Media outlets, therefore, naturally linked the two events, presenting them as part of a continuous storyline rather than separate occurrences. Despite these variations in coverage, one common thread emerged. The dinner served as a reminder of BTS's enduring ability to capture attention even in ordinary settings. Whether framed as a simple gathering or a possible strategic meeting, the sight of Jungkook, Jimin, and Taehyung together carried news value across borders. It illustrated how the group's influence transcended music and performance, extending into lifestyle, culture, and everyday observation. Ultimately, the media narratives, both in Korea and abroad, contributed to shaping how the public understood the event. For some, it reinforced the image of BTS as close-knit friends who continued to share personal moments despite their busy schedules. For others, it raised questions about the group's professional trajectory, hinting at possibilities yet to be confirmed. Regardless of interpretation, the coverage ensured that the story of the Los Angeles dinner remained in circulation long after the night itself had ended. The city of Los Angeles has long been associated with BTS, not only as a location for major performances, but also as a recurring setting for creative work, collaborations, and private moments. For international artists, LA often functions as a hub for entertainment, and for BTS, its role has been particularly significant throughout their global journey. The restaurant sighting of Jungkook, Jimin, and Taehyung was therefore not just another celebrity moment in the city, but part of a much larger pattern that reflects the group's relationship with Los Angeles. Historically, BTS's activities in LA can be traced back to their early international ventures. The city was one of the first major stops for the group when they began touring outside Asia. Performances in Los Angeles introduced them to broader Western audiences and helped lay the foundation for their eventual rise as global icons. Concerts at venues such as the Staples Center, now Crypto.com Arena, and later at the SoFi Stadium marked milestones in their career, symbolizing the scale of their influence in the United States. Beyond concerts, Los Angeles has also served as a creative hub for BTS's music production. The city is home to some of the world's most influential producers, songwriters, and recording studios. Over the years, members of BTS have been known to collaborate with LA-based talent, contributing to the group's evolving sound that blends Korean pop with global influences. Some of their most recognizable tracks were shaped, at least in part, by sessions held in Los Angeles. The group's ties to the city extend to visual content as well. LA has frequently been used as a backdrop for music videos, promotional shoots, and variety show episodes. One notable example is the group's travel reality series Bon Voyage, which featured portions of their time abroad, including moments in the United States. These visual connections further cemented LA's role as a recurring character in BTS's story, blending the glamour of the entertainment capital with the personal journeys of the members. Given this history, it was not surprising that the BTS reunion took place in Los Angeles, or that subsequent interactions, such as the dinner involving Jungkook, Jimin, and Taehyung, also occurred there. The city provides both visibility and anonymity. While fans and media are ever present, LA also offers countless venues where celebrities can blend into the background. Restaurants like the one the members were spotted in are well known for balancing public recognition with private discretion, making them ideal for high-profile figures seeking normalcy.